This show is brought to you by DF Studios Limited. Whether you're a business owner or entrepreneur, DF Studios will guide and assist you on the best ways to promote your brand digitally, in addition to creating visitor and customer generating content like blogs, social media posts, videos, and even podcasts like this one you're listening to right now. Visit dfstudiosltd.com or hit up info@dfstudiosltd.com for more info. Let me just talk briefly about the series premiere of Sister Bond. This is the newest web series from Ansel Harris, a good friend of ours, the founder and, just the creator of the Ville Ventures universe. This year alone, he dropped, actually, early this year, at the beginning of the year, I must say, we got the season finale of Magnolia. This was his debut web series. Afterwards, through GT Network. That's his media channel, if you will. He also dropped Visa Claw, and then on the flip side now, regular collaborator Keon Byron dropped his debut web series called Bachak Man, The Peacemakers, right? And on the subject of him, he actually makes a brief appearance in this episode here. He was actually in the promotional material for it, so when I saw him there, it was really surprising. And just to jump into what this is about, right? So in a nutshell, it just kind of introduces, these two sisters, right? So we have Keisha, who is played by Chimere. If I got the main name wrong, please forgive me. Please don't cuss me out on Facebook. So Chimere Prince, and we have Selena Lyons, who plays her sister Giselle, right? So Keisha is this private investigator, and Giselle is a real estate agent, but she kind of tags along during her rounds, right? And we just kind of more or less, we pretty much more or less just see the dynamic between the two of them, as it is technically a buddy cop, series. Well, buddy cop in quotes, right? Well, I should say cop in quotes, right? Yeah, there is the bickering, and there is the banter and the humorous moments, dialogue moments between the two, and those moments work, right? But they set up something pretty interesting here, right? Because if you remember from the Visa Claw series, there was the character of Keith, right, played by Kendall Arno, right? Yeah. So what happens is that he is dropped back to Earth, right, after his misadventures in that series, right? And pretty much, Keisha. I should say, yeah, Keisha is given this task to transport him from point A to point B, right? And well, of course, Giselle is there to tag along, right? And I'll stop there, right? So what I will say in terms of just setting up these new characters, remember these are the first time we've seen these characters. Just for those who don't know, this has been a series that was in the works for a while now. We were kind of wondering when we're gonna get this. When we're gonna get this at all. So and it kind of makes sense. It's kind of a smart call and answers part to drop it right after Visa Claw, because at least we get to see what happened to Keith after what happened to him in that show, right?
And keep reminding you the continuity.
Exactly, right.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of continuity, there's it's kind of blinking and missing, but you have to remember the moment too, because I assume the Keon Byron, the character that he plays, right, is pretty much the same bandit from Magnolia, right? And there was this nice little humorous bit in Bachak Man where they mentioned, his twin, right? Is the same actor playing both characters, right? Oh, his twin was arrested and blah blah blah, right? So yes, I assume that is the twin, that is the same bandit that Magnolia, beat up and whatnot, right? And he actually shows up in the intro to this, which was pretty cool. And if it's one thing, like but Keon is good with the action, with the fight choreography and whatnot, but you have some good humor, some comedic timing as well too, some nice little bits here that you see at the beginning, right? That being said, though, the moment I saw the runtime for this, which was roughly 12 minutes, I was like, oh gosh, we're doing this again, where essentially
it's a pilot, right?
It is. But like, I don't know, like for me, I just kind of wanted some longer, because remember, you're introducing these characters for the first time ever, right? And for me, I just felt like 12 minutes don't really do, these characters, as in Keisha and Giselle, justice. Like I felt that there could have been much more that could have been developed
like
for
a
them.
Pilot? Because I just get the feeling that that's the intention. It's just, it's a pilot, run with it.
It does. It does move in that way, right? But then another issue too is that because you're introducing these characters and you're just kind of setting up the world, quote unquote, of Sister Bond, right?
Right.
It really does take a while to get into the story, and then once the story like officially begins, that's when it ends. And I was just like, what? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, like again, I could understand budgetary stuff, right? But still, again, this is your pilot. You want to rope in the viewer into what's going on, right? And yes, you get a really interesting setup, but and yes, it involves Keith, right? But still, at the end of the day, I was still like kind of wondering, all right, well, does this character is transported from point A to point B? Does it involve his, disappearance and his arrival at this planet where, all that stuff with Visa Claw took place? Is it related at all to what we saw in Visa Claw, or is it something else, right? I thought that the show,
Right.
this episode here could have explored that, but it just kind of stops at a particular point. I'm just like, what? You know what I mean? But
Okay.
what I do give credit to now for this with this show here right now is just the light vibe of it, right? It's it's not
meant to be funnier, right?
exactly right. So the dialogue flows a lot better. It feels way more natural, you know what I mean? Very true to us as Trinese, the way how we talk back and forth and whatnot. And yeah, and you can tell that it is
effectively everybody human here, right? For the most part.
right. Exactly, that's right. Yeah. And you can tell that it's going for more of a non like it's meant to be specifically like, all right, like the superhero / comic book loving crowd will appreciate it because of its connections to what we saw before, but really it's just more for people who kind of not into superheroes or comic books, right? They're just like, hey, I just want to see a Trimbigonian action comedy involving two women, be badasses, and that's kind of what we get here, right? And again, just what's being set up here, like what I would say, just right off the bat, I just have a feeling that this could make for a really entertaining series, man. For one thing, both actors, do their best, you know what I mean, and they actually come through with great performances, right? That will be Chimera Prince and Selena Lyons. They just bounce off each other so well, and it just feels so natural, right? And yeah, it could buy into the fact that they are indeed sisters, right? Also like the fact that yeah, they feel real, you know what I mean? Like like case in point, one character is worried about bills, and next character is just like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no money, I'm trying to make some money. So it's stuff that we could relate to as well, right? So yeah, it makes them very, very likable and whatnot, right? And again, just the vibe of it is just very light and just, free flowing and whatnot, right? So you don't have to do any extra legwork trying to remember what happened in Visa Claw or Magnolia, right? Even though it wouldn't hurt to have at least some knowledge as to what happened in those shows, right? But again, what just really held it back for me was, the length, right? I just felt like, I don't know, we just could have gotten like an extra 5 or 10 minutes of story, like world building or just like story development. Like we get pretty standard character development. Like it's fine, like you get just of who the characters are, but I just came out of it wanting more, and I just felt like where it stops is like, wow, like the story like now begins, and oh wait, now we have to wait till whenever, right? And in closing, now I do hope that we don't have to wait that long to get the next episode, right? It was pretty weird that we got this episode right on before Christmas weekend. So I know a lot of people would just be kind of up and about doing stuff and probably would not have even known that the show came out, right? But it was on my radar for a while, so I just kind of made note of it, and I tell myself, at least I'm gonna at least check it out, now before I jump into my final episode, right? And it's a good thing that I did, right? So in closing, yes, this makes for a really solid, really entertaining series. But I do hope that we get more story and more character development in the next episode. And I do like that it does not fully connect to everything that we saw before, but again, it's part of that same universe, so it works. And I'm really curious to see how the more alien and superhero stuff is going to be incorporated into this series here, man. So yeah, for what I'm seeing here, it's fine. It's good. Again, just it's a length, boy. Just rather short. You know what I mean? But yeah, again, I'm just hoping that we do get longer episodes and just more, just from a narrative perspective, more fulfilling episodes, man. And yeah, again, I just can't wait to see what we get next here with this series, man. So yeah, Sister Bond is available right now on the GT Caribbean Network website. I'll just put the link in the description, to the video, i.e. on YouTube, and in the description to this episode of BB Radio here. So yeah, check it out, man. It's worth checking out. It's worth checking out.